now indeed. I looked it up. An Oscar recipient is given about 45 seconds for their acceptance speech. But they have something that you people don't. They have music to nudge people off the stage, so strap in and hold on tight. Wow, I'm very humbled by this recognition. As you learned from my father's comments, I've had the opportunity to experience Rotary from many different perspectives. I've seen Rotary through the eyes of a new member, through the eyes of a board of directors member, an event planning committee member, as a club president, and most recently as an assistant governor. Those experiences have all given me some insights into some of the common attributes that Paul Harris fellow recipients share, and I'm grateful to the members of the selection committee that felt that I share some of those characteristics as well. With this recognition, I'm joining a group of individuals that I hold in very high esteem. I would also like to congratulate my fellow recipients tonight. The West Springfield Record has certainly served our community in many ways, both as a tool to get out information and to highlight the good deeds of our citizens, our organizations, and our businesses. Thank you for the work that you do for the town, and certainly for the great amount of support that you give the Rotary Club by helping us get the word out about our available grants and our upcoming events. I think I see Mark with his camera at some of our events more than a couple of members I can think of. So congratulations again. Although I do have to say, I think you owe me a drink, because the year that I was president, I had to pay a lot of fines to my club because of the amount of times that I was in the record. So somebody over there owes me a drink. Mark? I'll be collecting later. Now, before I get into some of the people I'd like to thank, I'd like to take this opportunity to explain a little bit about why I'm in Rotary, and more importantly, why I stay in Rotary. I think my father's comments made it clear how I found out about Rotary, but that doesn't really explain why I make Rotary such an important part of my life, and why I've given countless volunteer hours to support it. While I could probably name a few reasons to explain that, the largest one by far is my faith. While I realize that today's society has made talking about religion a bit of a taboo subject, it is such an integral part of who I am that to give any sort of acceptance speech without acknowledging it would be ingenuine. So I hope you'll bear with me for a few minutes as I share what unintentionally may seem like a sermon, but is really just an explanation of why I feel Rotary has been so important to my life. My parents tried to raise me on Christian values. While I certainly have shortcomings and faults, I tried to make those values the cornerstone of how I live my life, raise my family, and run a business. When a Pharisee once asked Jesus what the most important commandment was, he told them, and I'm paraphrasing here, to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. That is the first and greatest commandment. The second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. So in my opinion, the two keys to a successful life are in those two concepts, loving your Creator and loving your fellow man. For me, church on Sunday is where I go to get refocused on the first part. It's certainly not a perfect place because it's run by humans who are imperfect people. But at its core, the concept of loving God is strengthened and invigorated for me when I'm there. Rotary, that's where I go to get refocused on the second part. It is also certainly not a perfect place because it is run by and attended by imperfect people. But its core concept of loving your fellow man in service above self is strengthened and invigorated for me when I'm here. Rotary for me is not about the lunch, the speakers, the networking, or the friendships I've made. While I get all those great things out of Rotary, they don't compare to hearing about the countless people around the world who can now see because of the cataract surgeries we provided, or the cripples who can now walk because we paid for their $30 prosthetic limb, or the women in India who now have a social significance in their community because we bought them a cow to take care of. And then, of course, locally, we're serving food to the homeless, either quite literally at organizations like Friends of the Homeless, or by supporting organizations who do, like the parish cupboard with a proper sink and pantry. Rotary for me is how I love my neighbor and how I can make a real and measurable progress towards making the world a better place. It's not just lip service. Now, you could argue that I'm being overly simplistic about Rotary, and I'm glossing over the issues that come up, like where to eat, or who to let in, or who did or didn't dress appropriately at any given function. But those issues aren't why I'm in Rotary, and they aren't going to prevent me from focusing on the core of what makes Rotary great, and participating in the good works we do. Just as I wouldn't let a Christian who does unchristian things keep me from focusing on what Christ's calling for us in our lives. So that's the why I'm a part of Rotary, and the why I've done the things I've done. but I need to explain the how. The how is due to a number of people that I'd like to take a moment and thank. One of the earliest influences on me was certainly my parents. I want to thank them for instilling the values they did and for supporting me mentally, financially, and spiritually. They often repeated their cause of needing to make me a productive member of society, and I certainly thank them for accomplishing that. They, along with my in-laws, have also volunteered countless hours of babysitting, which also allow me to do Rotary business. I've also had some great mentors along the way, many of which who have been fellow Rotarians. Now, no achievement by a single Rotarian happens without the help and support of club members, so I want to thank all of you for the great things you do. I've not only learned how to be a better Rotarian, but also a better businessman by being in Rotary. I've learned things from all the members in our club to varying extents, and I wouldn't want to take the time to thank every one of you. One, out of fear of forgetting someone, and two, for letting the speech go way too long. But I would like to specifically and intentionally thank 3 Rotarians who have especially had a great influence on me. So in no particular order, I want to thank Bob McDonald, Kathy Nikotopoulos, and Stella Kalmarakis for your mentorship and guidance. It may or may not have been intentional on your parts, but I've learned a great deal by serving with you 3. Thank you. I also have some pretty great friends. Many of them are here tonight, though some couldn't make it. They have also influenced me, mostly for the better, and have certainly helped shape the person I am today. I really appreciate them for allowing me to hit them up for buying Novemberfest tickets and raffle tickets, and for understanding when my Rotary commitments may have interfered with some other potential plans. I'd also like to thank my business partner. Now, this may be a little unfair because this is sort of like getting a second dip at the apple, but our family relationship and our business relationship are obviously closely linked. So while he's George at the office and Dad on holidays, in either setting, he's always been very supportive of my community involvement, and we have a great working relationship. We both know when we can put our foot down and when we need to let the other one make the call. I certainly also want to thank my staff and the good work that they do, so that while I'm at Rotary, I know things are taken care of back at the office. The final part of my how is certainly the largest part of my how. My wife is by far the best part of my life, and the only reason I get to stand up here. She never makes me feel guilty for needing to stay out late for Rotary functions. She's right by my side whenever I need her to be, having attended and volunteered at countless Rotary conferences, foundation dinners, and fundraisers for multiple clubs. She's an encouragement to me when I feel overwhelmed by all the tasks on my plate. And while she takes on the lion's share of keeping up the household and caring for our daughter, Erin, I'm so blessed to have her and grateful to know her. Thank you very much, dear. In closing, George has mentioned that my next role is that of district membership chair for the district. So if any of my comments here tonight have inspired the non-Rotarians in the room to want to take a look at membership in Rotary, I'm thrilled to speak more to you about it. I'm happy to help you know how you can join or get involved. For the members in the audience who don't share my view of Rotary, but are Rotarians, I challenge you to get deliberate about getting involved more. Participate in Rotary opportunities outside of our regular lunch meetings, and don't let Rotary just be a place to eat lunch on Tuesdays. Thank you all for your attendance tonight, especially to the many friends and family who came out to support me. And thank you for this very humbling recognition. Thank you.